Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for CGL's Breakdown Podcast. I am your host, Witty, along with my partner in crime here, Mr. Skate Action. Skate, how you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing awesome. I'm so glad that I decided late yesterday to get the yard work done that I needed to do yesterday, because today sucks. It is rainy and dreary, and it is a nasty mess. But, you know, it's a perfect day for video gaming. I don't want to be out there messing with it, so
that's right.
You know, we get to stay in and play some video games today. So, yeah, how are you doing, man?
I can't complain. Definitely, we have some sun here, so after this, I'm gonna clean my car and then sit my butt in my chair and play some Xbox today. Why
Absolutely. You gotta, let's see, it's Sunday, so that means you have a game at 8, right?
No, we actually we had a forfeit Wednesday night. How about that?
Hey, how about that? I was in the same boat. I got a forfeit this week as well. So you love the free
tonight,
4-0.
I do have my Madden draft at 8 o'clock. So instead of a game, we're going full blown draft. We have the draft class that the NFL actually just used. We finally used that. We're into like our 6th season, and we have like one more season until until Madden 21 will come out. Mm-hmm. So we decided to put the generated rookie class in there, sitting at the 12th overall pick. So we'll see what happens.
So I'm curious, does that just have like an import file where you can import it into the game?
Yes. Like
cool.
Each year, you're like the scouting in Madden starts in week 3, and you can use just randomly all computer generated draft class, or you can use a community file for basically someone that went in and edited the entire draft class.
Yeah, I think that was part of it when I was playing too, the community files.
And there's a couple guys that are like known, like big on Reddit, big in the Madden world for like being accurate with their draft class customization. So you normally end up using one of those two, and they end up being pretty spot on. Like the wide receiver, that whole group of wide receivers is all projected for first round. Same thing with the offensive linemen and the safeties and the quarterback. So whoever did it, I forget who we ended up using, but they did a pretty good job, and hopefully I can draft some offensive line help so I don't get sacked 60 times a year, but we'll see. Getting ready for the premiere on YouTube tonight, and we're going to start a little differently. We normally start with Friday Night Overwatch. Last night, we threw it back a little bit, kicked it off with the Injustice 2 tournament. Mm-hmm. We had just a one event for PS4, and a familiar face ended up taking home the crown. TWEEDY wins the $500 Injustice 2 tournament. I got to watch. I didn't get to watch it live. I got to watch some of the highlights and stuff this morning.
Yeah,
the game looked dope. I'm hoping we see more of this in the future, especially, you know, with the summer, with all the availability we're going to have and the capable hours to capitalize on. Yeah. Fun game. Gur took home 2nd place, and Benji, I don't know if that's his gamer tag, but I saw that was his Twitter handle, so I wanted to give him a shout out for getting 3rd place.
Absolutely.
Familiar faces, a lot of familiar action, and it was pretty cool seeing a superhero fighter game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and we did get to see some of the known superheroes. I mean, obviously the meta is what it is in Injustice 2, and maybe the lesser known superheroes to the casual fan got a lot of spotlight, as we see Starfire there that TWEEDY used to almost perfection in order to take out Gur in that grand final, which strangely enough I believe was a repeat of a top 8 match. I think they played in top 8 earlier, and Gur had TWEEDY dead to rights. It was almost a wash, really, and it looked like TWEEDY had no chance. And then coming back in the grand finals, coming up from the losers bracket, resetting against Gur and just basically dominating that grand finals. I think he took both sets 3-1 in grand finals. Gur was running that atom to perfection up until that point, because he was just, everything looked flawless. He looked unbeatable up until that grand final. But I think TWEEDY needed some of those games to knock some more of the rust off. He said he was actually grinding an entire day. So Friday was basically grinding to get ready for this game and knock the rust off. So he only had really the one character. He didn't have another option, or at least that he felt comfortable with. He does play 4 or 5 different characters in Injustice 2, but this was just kind of the path he went down was the Starfire, because it is a pretty top tier hero. I thought it was a good show and a great tournament. I'm excited to see more Injustice 2 stuff moving forward. Darth Arma and Sensei just knocked it out of the park, as they usually do.
Yeah, they were awesome.
And it was neat to see a different style of fighting game too, outside of Mortal Kombat. Yeah, when you're watching a fighting game, it all looks the same. But the fact that this game includes the health bars that carry over into rounds, you essentially have to destroy the health bar twice. It's not separate rounds. Is an interesting concept too that I would like to see, more Injustice coming forward just because of that. I think the rumor mill is that NRS will be working on an Injustice 3 next, but they've also said that they won't be doing it. So that's just kind of, I think, hearsay at this point. I think it deserves an Injustice 3. I thought this game is great, and it, from all accounts, there's a bit of a better meta. It seems like with Injustice 2, there's a lot more balance of rock, paper, scissors, as it were, in Injustice 2 than there is in MK11 currently. But yeah, I thought it was a great tournament, very entertaining. Some great highlights. Definitely go back and watch the VOD. I'm going to try and get the VOD up as soon as I can, but it was a 4-hour broadcast. It's going to take some editing down to get it on YouTube. It was a long night, but yeah, hats off to TWEEDY, CGL's own TWEEDY. I think he got 300 for winning that, so that's a little extra, coin in the pocket during these tough times.
Definitely, and the overlays were, I just love the scoreboard. I love how the font just all flows together with how the game font. They knocked it out of the park again. Top tier production by the boys and the CGL production crew, and yeah, I really do hope we see more of that. The console combat's brought fighting games back into my life, so now I want to see more titles, more variation. We did Killer Instinct months ago, and that was really cool to see. And now getting into this Injustice tournament, it's a dope concept. It seems a fun game. A lot of you have familiar names that came out and participated, so I'm hoping we definitely see more of that in the future. So hats off to everyone that participated in that. Once again, congratulations to TWEEDY for taking home the grand prize. And all right, so we had the tournament last night, and another kind of breaking news thing happened in the CGL world.
Yeah,
KUNOICHI was announced last night, and that is the women's brand. The purpose is to highlight women in gaming and inspire them to be more active in their respective gaming communities. You can follow that on Twitter. KUNOICHI CGL is the handle, and the logo is dope. The concept is dope. The color scheme is dope. I think this is a home run all the way around. I know it's been a work in progress for a bit now.
Man, I think
I'm just excited to see this go. 5-6 months
into this.
Yeah, yep, big time planning. The girls that are helping out are absolutely phenomenal. We got to try to get them on the show so we can really dive in depth into this. So that's something we can work on the side there. But this is a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah. For those that didn't see for those that didn't see the broadcast last night, that's when the announcement was made. There was a little video put together that we showed during the broadcast that highlighted some of the members of KUNOICHI, some of the CGL players that will be playing under that brand name. And I think Candy will be handling kind of the brand management from that point. But we do have Infinity, who is a great fighting game player, top notch. She's phenomenal. And a great cosplayer too. Don't forget to leave that part in there. She's, S tier in cosplay. Baylina was also, who was introduced as a CGL player recently. I think sometime around Final Combat is when we made that announcement. So that would have been mid-March-ish. And then we also have Kiki, who is one of the streamers for CGL, will be helping with that brand. She does great content. If you're not following Kiki,
Yeah,
make
she
sure
does.
you get out there and follow
Check her out.
She's great at every game she puts her hands on. I don't know how she does it.
Natural ability.
Like,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
she just has this ability, like she can see into the matrix and see into the game code, and she's just good at like every game she plays. I don't get it. I wish I was that good.
I do too. I lost that talent a long time ago.
That I
ever
never
had
had that talent.
I don't think I ever had. I'm just trying to make myself feel better.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, you know, you want to make yourself feel better. But yeah, I'm excited for KUNOICHI, and I love the logo. We've been working on this for a while, and we finally settled on something, and we were able to get it out there. I'm glad that we can actually talk about this in public since we've been working on it for so long. It's something that we've been wanting.
That merch is going to be fire.
It is. And
just
look at that color scheme.
Just to let
too.
everyone know. Color scheme's dope.
Whew,
the merch is going to be fire. Save up, just get ready to keep your eyes out for when all that merch goes live, because I know I'm definitely going to be buying some. I just love the purpose, and it wasn't like a CGL like, yo, we need this women's brand type of deal. These girls wanted to do it. They're so passionate about it.
Oh, they are.
And I just think this opens up such a wave in the whole gaming environment for women, and for young women that are playing, older women that are playing, anyone involved. Like this is just such a great avenue for them to do that. So hats off to the girls. Wish them nothing but success. I think they're going to crush it. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some good content, some great merch. So get ready to just support that. They haven't put out a tweet yet on the account, but that's coming. So
it is coming.
That first tweet get some good traction. Hats off to the girls. Good luck with everything. And hey, that's all you can want is growth in the community. That's for sure.
That's all you can hope for, and giving them a little bit of a platform to excel, because these girls are extremely talented.
Yeah, they're about to make a name for themselves for sure. They have names, but they're about to blow up, as the youth say these days, and all their hip lingo.
They have all kinds of hip lingo, and I'm not the one to bring it to you. So,
nope. It's a lot of Twitch chat. That's all I know.
Yeah,
words that you find in Twitch chat are what the kids are using these days.
Yeah, and it's bad when the kids start using it in regular conversation, and you have to, think about what they mean. They start talking in emotes.
I'm like, yeah.
I just recently started typing my emotes. I'm so old. I started to go and scroll down through, so I've got some of them memorized, so I can hit the little colon and start typing it, and it'll pop up in there to save me some time, because I was wondering, how are these people putting these emotes so fast?
Just so fast. Anytime there's an announcement, there's like the second it's posted, there's like 85 emotes underneath the post. I'm just like, I don't know what to do here. I gotta look for my emojis.
Yeah, I gotta scroll through these. What section was that under? Is that under the one that looks like food, or the one that looks like flags?
Yeah. And kids, they used to be called emoticons.
Oh yeah.
When they were first a thing, they were originally emoticons, and now it's evolved to emojis, and that's probably the old term for it now. I have no clue.
Hieroglyphics. That's what I call it.
That's true. It started in hieroglyphics, turned into emoticons. It's back to hieroglyphics for us old heads, and the kids are now emojiing all the time. Hey.
That's a big Keck W right there.
Speaking of Twitch chat.
Speaking of it.
Friday Night Overwatch happened.
It sure
and that's
did.
why it branches into Twitch. It's the big bombshell for Twitch on Friday nights. Week 8, so that means the second to last week for the multi-tier tournament regular season. Mm-hmm. We had a double header in Tier 3 on Friday night, and also the third straight week of 4-0 sweeps.
Yeah.
As Game 1, the Reborn goes 4-0 over the Hunt. Hunt falls now to 5-3 with a +2 differential. And Game 2, Apollo wins 4-0 over Pro Throws. Pro Throws falls to 6-2. They are +8. Third straight week of 4-0s. It surprises me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Skate, you're always there except for last week. You're always involved heavily in the
Yeah.
Friday Night Overwatch production. What'd you see? Like, were these games close?
Yes, no. Some of them were, some of them weren't. It's been wild from a planning standpoint because we started off so strong the first couple weeks, had some very tightly contested matches here, and all of a sudden everything is just 4-0s for 3 weeks, and I don't know what the deal is. We even adjusted to put one of the teams, Pro Throws, who we talked about, onto the stream for the second straight week. We had them the week before. We had thought about grabbing a different matchup, but they weren't playoff teams. All 4 of these teams from Tier 3 were involved in the playoff race. They were all in the playoffs heading into Friday Night Overwatch. So it was about positioning, staying in the playoff race, and unfortunately for Pro Throws and the Hunt, I mean, the 4-0 was obviously the worst situation that could have happened for him. Mathematically, that you definitely hate to see that, especially when it takes a team like the Hunt. We'll go into this a little bit further later on, since we are going to do a recap of at least Tier 1 and Tier 2, the biggest tier, since there's so many teams and people want to know where they stand in the divisions. But man, I don't know. I was part of the first game, and we had some issues, as it were, with the broadcast. We had a map that just stopped working. Apparently, Nepal refused to work for us last night.
Nepal wanted to take the day off. Okay.
Yeah, just decided, you know what? Nah, we're not going to work. So we got through an entire round, and then 83% through the second point on, I don't remember, was it Shrine or Sanctum? I can't remember. I think it's Shrine. The server just closed, and then we tried to rerun it. The same thing happened again, so we had the Hunt graciously saying, you know what, it wasn't going well for us both times. We're just going to go ahead and take the L, move on. It was a wild night, I tell you what, because then we had tanks that couldn't connect to the game lobby after they got kicked off, and the disconnections. The first game ended up taking like an hour and a half plus just to get through, because nothing wanted to work. These games should only take about an hour to run, so we had about an extra half hour to fill. Corbic and I just rolling through, doing the best we can. But yeah, I thought it was a good night, though. It was good turnout in the Twitch chat, and we got to see some great plays all around. So yeah, hopefully we can get some better matchups. I would love to see some playoff implication matchups get scheduled in that 7 or 9 o'clock time frame, so that we can get them on Friday Night Overwatch. We got a lot to cover in the playoff standings, but yeah, another solid week. But I just want some tightly contested matches.
Yeah, that's true though. Like you're looking through all the matchups on paper, and you're like, yo, that's a big matchup. I mean, skate, we're sports fans. It happens. You look at that paper, you look at that Sunday Night Football. Oh, these two teams are going to, this game's going to be crazy. It's going to be close. 28-0 halfway through the second quarter, and that other team's like packing it in already, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Just matchups and timing and just not people's nights.
Yeah.
But you still got to see playoff implication matchups. Impressive. It kind of makes the 4-0s even more impressive, with both of these games having playoff implications and teams being involved. So hats off to Apollo and Reborn for getting those big 4-0 dubs. Very important for them and their search for a playoff spot in their respective tiers. One more week of like regular season Friday Night Overwatch.
Yeah.
Come on, captains, get those games in 7 and 9. We want playoff matchups. If you need to clinch a spot, if you need to put the nail in that rival team in your tier's coffin, do it. Get your game scheduled for Friday night. Keep wanting to say 5 o'clock. Friday night, 7 and 9. Get on the stream, get in the showcase, and hey, get those playoff spots. Can't believe what seemed like this just started.
Yeah.
We are very close to postseason play.
Very, very close. We're almost there, man.
So close. It doesn't seem that long. I still remember being yeah, man, my team can make the playoffs. No, no not even close.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
It happens. But it's been crazy. There's a lot of playoff implications in this last week. A lot of teams still alive. A lot of teams fighting for seeding and positioning. Because you even if you're in, you have to look at what path to the finals could potentially be for your team and how you can get there. Because now you got to start looking. If you're in right now, and if a loss won't kill you, you got to look at the implications of what that loss does or what a win does. What kind of path are you going to have to try to make the finals? And I'm excited. Playoffs are definitely the best time in all sports and all events. So buckle up, Overwatch fans, because it's not going anywhere. And Friday Night Overwatch will guide you into that, getting ready for the playoffs as we approach the last week of the regular season.
Oh yeah, we're almost there. Can't wait for next week. Hopefully we can have some playoff talk in the pre-show if we get a pre-show next week. We've had some issues. Unfortunately, Sultan's ISP has been just blockading him from actually putting on the production that he has designed, which is gorgeous, by the way. He's the man when it comes to that. Let's hope we can get a full pre-show in where we can break down some of these and show some of the standings, things like that. We had a big discussion planned, and we just, unfortunately, given the internet situation, weren't able to do that. So unlucky, but hey, we still got one more shot at it.
That's right. So hopefully that works out. And Skate, I know you touched on this as we just started talking about Friday Night Overwatch, and we kind of touched on it the whole time.
Yeah.
The multi-tier playoffs are looming, entering the final week of the regular season, spots up for grabs in all the divisions. And I want to give hats off to you, Skate, right here. The beautiful color coding that is on your screen right now, if you're watching the YouTube version, he spent the time going through and color coding the situations and playoff implications that are current as of right now. So
as of 30 minutes before we recorded this. So there are some games that may be in progress or were played by the time you are seeing this, but this is as of now, and we can take a look at Tier 2 first here as we look at it. It should be kind of by division. It should make sense as people look through it. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. So by my calculation, there are technically 9 teams active in that first division vying for that last playoff spot, even all the way down to a team like Lord's Lazarus. I haven't looked at the matchups yet to see if maybe that excludes them per se, but depending on who they play, even at a 3-4 record with a -2, there's a chance that they could get in. It's not a great chance, but there's a chance.
But you've seen it happen before. Yeah, if they go 2-0 with 2 4-0s, all of a sudden one of these teams kind of slip up here. There's so much sliding and dropping and climbing that especially this Division 1 and Tier 2 right now.
Yeah.
This could be completely 100% inaccurate by the time people see this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because if they're playing their games right now, there's definitely still a couple games here that need to get played in this tier.
It's a nice reference though. You can look at it and know your situation if you're in one of those teams. If you're one of those teams in that predicament, as it looks like I almost locked in these 2 teams, Hateful Eights and Memento Mori Tier 2, until I realized they've only played 6 of their games. I don't know what's going on there. We will have to get, some kind of justification on that or clarification, as the likely scenario is they may have needed to reschedule a game between the 2 teams. I know there were a few instances where we had to do that for a couple teams. We let them go ahead and move, given the situation with the COVID-19 pandemic. There were some teams that weren't able to play some games, and I think they were against each other. So I'm hoping that's the case where we're just missing a result between the two of them. But we will have to see. And as far as the divisions go, I was trying to get the divisions as accurate as possible. If I've got one wrong, I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I only have the schedules to go off of. And basically what I was doing is I was looking at Division 1 schedule and pulling every team I saw. If I didn't see that team listed, I automatically put them in Division 2. So Division 2 may end up with the groups of teams that have since left the multi-tier tournament, because we do have teams that drop out as the season goes on. So that's kind of where a lot of those ended up getting filtered to. But yeah, this is what we're looking at in Tier 2. I'll go ahead and scroll down to Division 2 here so we can take a look as we see Sunny with a chance of rain with their unblemished record locking up that playoff spot. But they're still playing for that number 1 seed, which does matter because you do get the bye. You instantly get into the divisional round, as it were.
Yep.
So yeah, you get to skip wild card weekend and go straight into the divisional playoffs. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. We see another interesting caveat where Pluto Esports is locked in, even though the teams above them are not. The teams above them are all but locked in, but just because of the way the math works and they haven't played their Week 8 game, you sort by losses first. Everybody that follows sports closely should know that the first thing you sort by is the amount of losses, low to high, and then whatever your tiebreakers are. So because they haven't played their game, they actually technically sit above the standings, but Pluto Esports is locked in. There's no way that they can be passed by any of those 3 teams below. We do see an appearance by your Arc Flash Tier 2 team right there, Witty.
Look at that.
They are mathematically alive, depending on what happens with Cute Threat there with 2 games to play. I don't think you can catch Ad Astra there since you have, well, I guess the map differential. So you do have a couple spots. So those would be the teams that your team would be, or your org would be watching out for there. Levitate needs a miracle, but it's mathematically possible.
It can happen.
Well, now looking at it, I probably should go ahead and switch that to red because I don't see how that happens. You would have to, yeah. Well, no, you can. I take that back. Levitate with 2 games to play could get to 5 and 4 and still mathematically be alive, as Cute Threat could drop those maps and drop the 2 games. So yes, mathematically alive. My math checks out.
He's a mathematician now. Look at that.
I tried to be as conservative as possible. That's why I didn't include anybody that's playing each other. I didn't want to get into any of that scenario, but because God, that's a mess. I don't know how they do it in the
that's
NFL.
hard to go over. Nope.
Yeah.
They got a whole team for all that.
To Tier 3
Look
here.
at Tier 3 right now.
Division 1 almost done. Almost locked up. As we see a few spots left for grabs there in the Division 1. I almost want to say Division A, but we decided to go with Division 1 and 2.
Division 1 and 2
is how they're
see that loss by Pro Throws.
That's how big that
like
was.
That.
That puts a. This is the thing. Now I do have the little insider information as I play on one of these teams that's in yellow. So I have scoped this a little bit just to see where my team was. So I do have a little bit of an analysis. I don't know who the Hunt or 88's Unchained play next week. I can probably pull that up in just a moment and take a look. But I do know Twilight did get a bye week in Week 8, and I think the team that they are playing is a little bit farther down the list. I can't remember who it is. It might be Dignity that they play, which is out of the playoff hunt. So given it's last week, you don't know how many of those teams that are eliminated are going to try to play their games. You really don't know. It's a toss-up at any point. I ran into that situation on Saga where we didn't have to play our game. So you don't know going into it who's going to have to play what. But I do know this. Pro Throws will more than likely have to play their game. They unfortunately are going to be playing against that team that you see on that first line, Reborn. That is their last week matchup.
Yo,
they
that's a battle right there.
the scheduling gods did not do them any favors, as they had to finish with a murderer's row there. They had to play Apollo, who with that win locked themselves in, it looks like, and I don't know. It's it's going to be tough sledding for Pro Throws, because if they cannot win, so at best, let's say they 3-2, you know, in the situation where they do lose, they would be at, they would be at +7 on the map differential, because they would only lose 1. That being the case, they would have to hope the other 3 lost teams lose, because 88's Unchained could get to 8. That would pass them if they 4-0'd. Saga is already at 9, so any win by Saga at that point would put them ahead of Pro Throws. So there is a lot to watch out for in that last week. You know, I should know who my last team matchup is for Saga, but I don't. Let me pull up this last week real quick.
Pull up the sketch.
Yeah, so we can kind of give folks something to look at here.
Dude, this is just crazy looking through.
Right, so Tier 3, the last teams, those last 3, since I already talked about the first 2, Saga will be up against, in Week 9, Neptune Esports, that you see a little bit lower down, another team that has been eliminated, it looks like, from the playoffs. Let's see, the other teams were 88's Unchained. They are matched up against Seattle Peaks, best beans in the business.
That's right.
Also
best
eliminated
beans
from the playoffs, so we'll have to see if they will have a match or not this week. It looks like 88's Unchained still has not played this week's game, which would have been against Octalium. So that's another interesting one, where if they do end up playing, or they can't get that schedule with Octalium, and they end up, you know, a forfeit happens, they would move to 5-3 with +8 differential. So that would automatically, you know, put them a step closer. The Hunt in the last week will play. Oh man, the Hunt will play against Blaze, who you see in green up there, locked in. So that is a team that probably will still be playing. So it's that 4-0 loss for the Hunt was just a backbreaker.
That's a killer.
On Friday Night Overwatch. You hate to say it, but it was a must-win at that point.
Yeah.
Because I think the difference there was, if they win, they were in. So that was their playoff lives. If they win, they would have been where Apollo is. They would have been locked in, because those teams were almost dead even going into that Friday Night Overwatch. So
man, that
was the difference from Friday Night Overwatch, was the win and the loss. So that is just real unfortunate there. As
4-0's coming up huge.
Let's take a look at Division 2, because this is another tier where we have 2 different divisions. I scrolled a little bit too far here. Let me scroll back up so we get the top team in there at 8-0, Mythos. Division, or Tier 3 has 3 undefeated teams, and one of them being Mythos in Division 2. They have, it looks like, by my count, mathematically locked up that #1 seed. So they will have that first round bye. If they lose, they can't get past, as they are +27 in the map differential there. You can't make up 10 in 1 week. So
no.
Playing 4 maps, you cannot make up 10. That's good math. But we didn't even really touch on the #1 seed in the other side, as we have Arc Flash, your Tier 3 boys there. With
look at that.
27.
Cooking.
+27 in 7 weeks. They are 27-0-1 in maps. They have tied a map and won all the others. They're still yet to play this week, so I don't know what's going on with that. But that #1 seed, we talked about Reborn, who Pro Throws will have to play. Reborn, something to play for there. They're playing for that #1 seed. So
yeah,
you're going to get the best
seed
shot.
Right for the picking.
Yeah, they're going to give you their best shot. You're going to have to be ready to play if you're going to have any chance of making it in. It's a Hail Mary, but you got a chance. It's better than all the teams in red that don't have a chance right now.
Yeah, right.
We see a lot more tightly contested matchups here in Division 2. Let me scroll down so I got their schedule so we can look at a few of these. Tier 3, Owl and Prophet's Tribe sitting in the best spot at 2 losses. They are almost locked in, but because of the way the math works with 4 O's and 0-4s, can't lock them in. but they are more than likely in. They're at like that 80-90% range where it's going to take a drastic thing for them to not make the playoffs. Let's see. Tier 3 Owl will play the Hunters Gaming, who has been eliminated. Prophet's Tribe. They play Valor Honor, which is another team that just on the outside that has been eliminated. So I look for those two teams just to stay rolling and get locked in, which would leave the last 2 spots here up for grabs that I just highlighted between those.
2 spots for 5 teams.
5 teams, 2 spots. It's a similar situation in Division 1, although I would look for Twilight to kind of be locked in there. They're more than likely, so it's mainly 4 teams for 1 spot there. As we see how closely contested this is, Descendants Tier 3 yet to play this week's game. That plays in big because of the map differential. As you see, they are sitting at 3 on the map differential. So they don't have that high map differential. They need a very good showing to put themselves in position the last 2 weeks. It looks like they were to play Title RTC this week, which is another one of the playoff teams, but they have it looks like they have a result there, so we'll have to check on that if they're missing a previous week. That may be the case, that they are missing one of the previous weeks, and that can happen where you have a bye week and you didn't actually handle it. You still have to put it in the schedule and get the results. Those aren't automatic. So if you're on that team, we need to get that sorted out so that you have all 8 results in there. Mainly so we can make sure that you get your rightful playoff spot if you've earned it. We don't want you to not earn that playoff spot, because if that was the case, they would be at 6-2 plus 7. So they would be all but in as well. Title RTC, the last week of the season, will play against Thug Muffins, who have been eliminated down there. Let's see who else. Tribulation Tier 3 will be playing against Descendants Tier 3. Yeah, as you see, Descendants Tier 3, that team we were just talking about, against Tribulation Tier 3. So that is a matchup to keep an eye on.
That's a big matchup.
That's a winner gets in situation there, basically.
Yeah.
Loser goes home in that spot. Simply because of the map differential. Tribulation with a win would overtake Descendants with that map differential.
Oh, with that out.
Yeah.
Man.
Pride. I'm not seeing Pride. Did I put Pride in the wrong division? I may have. Man, it's hard keeping track of these teams. I did. I put.
There's 100 Tier 3 teams, man.
I don't
you're
even
bound
see
to get
Pride listed
somehow.
on either one. Did they change? I don't know who they play. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who they play.
They're probably like the Tier 6 team.
I think they had a name change too, or something. But I don't even see the name change in there. I think they were one of them that had a name change, but I don't even see this. Golden Hour, is that who they are now? Or was that Rise? I knew it was a team with a Y in the name. That's the confusing part. But yeah, I'm not seeing their last week. I'm not even seeing Pride on the schedule. That's unfortunate.
What? I think they definitely were one of the teams with the name change. It's just driving me crazy.
That's one of those situations. I don't know on that one. But GE Tardigrade, we'll just kind of keep things moving here. They play No Sympathy Legion, who is the first red team there. So they are the first one on the outside. So some spots still available for all 4 divisions in Tier 2 and Tier 3. I did this week, if everybody goes and checks out your standings, I did add some cell shading to try and make it a little bit easier to see all the different divisions. I thought it would make sense to break down Tier 2 and Tier 3 since we don't have those tiers on the website. It's not broken up by tiers. It's just the overall tier. It's not the division. So yeah, that's just something to look at, something to keep in mind when these games are getting scheduled. There's going to be a few premier games to keep an eye on. I would look for Bull Skunk to pick up a few of those because that man's a machine and streams like 80,000 games a week. I don't know how he has time to sleep, but he gets it done. So yeah, that's kind of the gist, the breakdown of the Tier 2 and 3 playoff race.
Yeah, plenty of options and different scenarios going on. So captains, make sure you get those games scheduled. You don't want to just drop the ball scheduling when you're one of these 10 plus teams that are in yellow and still able to make the playoffs. So those spots are going to be up for grabs. Teams are going to be fighting and there's going to be some highly entertaining games this week. So pay attention for those stream notifications. You don't want to miss it. Anytime there's playoff implications, especially that last week, it's something to keep an eye on. It normally brings out that different edge for teams.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be excited to see how all of this kind of plays itself out and where the seedings and the matchups. And I'm sure once all that data gets processed at the end of next week, you know, we'll be able to, we'll go a little bit in depth on what matchups we're going to see and maybe some future playoff predictions for the multi-tier tournament. As, hey, season's wrapping up. It's been fun. It's been highly entertaining. There's been some dominance. There's been some back and forth.
Yeah.
Teams coming back. All around, the tournament's been fantastic and very exciting to watch. And hey, we're getting to playoff time. That's all you can ever hope for. That's when the players really show up and bring their best effort. So hats off to everyone in contention and good luck. Get those playoff spots. Get those dubs.
Absolutely.
A couple weeks ago to transition now, we're leaving the world of Overwatch. Just want to throw this out there. We're doing another Call of Duty Warzone tournament next weekend. We did one a couple weeks ago that was very successful. So you know what? They decided to bring it back. May 23rd, live on twitch.tv/CGL1, $150 prize pool. Go to consolegamingleague.com/COD and sign up for our second Warzone tournament. This is the Trios tournament again. As you see, another phenomenal graphic. That's next weekend.
Yep.
That'll be fun. Definitely check that out. And hey, get ready for some more battle royale action as Warzone steps up into the hole that was left by Apex, who was streamed last weekend.
Yeah, and that was a fun one last time that we did this. I about said last weekend. I guess it's been almost a month now since we did the last one. So time is flying right now. But it was very fun to see, simply because we had the NA team chasing the big number put up by the EU teams, and just following them along as they climbed up through those ranks, and you could see that they were on pace to kind of get there, and it was fun tracking them and knowing if they could get there or not. So it is an interesting concept because it is multi-region, where we have the EU and the NA playing at separate times and kind of going at it. So it's definitely worth a watch. It's a very entertaining thing. I would look for it to be, I think it's 6 or 7 p.m. I don't have the time clarified for the stream to start. It's usually around 7.
I didn't see that either.
But you know what? I tell you, this is all you need to know. If you go to twitch.tv/CGL1, you follow the channel, you hit the little notification button. It doesn't matter what time it starts, because Twitch will let you know when it starts. You should be doing that anyways to get all of this CGL content.
True.
Yeah, it's that simple. You ring
follow
the bell,
and subscribe now.
You get the notification.
And then bam, your phone, your tablet, whatever you have Twitch on, it's going to let you know, hey, CGL1's streaming right now. Check it out. Get in there. Good luck to everyone that signs up. Just a reminder, www.consolegamingleague.com/COD, which is COD, to sign up and register for that event. That'll be fun. That is next Saturday, May 23rd.
Yes.
Cannot believe we are almost at June.
I know, right? Where did May go? For as long as every month has been this year, with with the hellscape that this world is right now, May has flown by.
May is just like that. Next weekend is what? Memorial Day weekend already?
Oh my God, you're right. It is.
It's way too fast. It's just it's gonna be September in like a blink of an eye. I don't know. It makes no sense. For the weeks feel so long.
Maybe that means we're getting back to some normalcy.
I hope so. I think
maybe that's a good sign.
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend's always that like unofficial start of summer. You have off on Monday, most people.
Yeah.
So I know I'll be excited next weekend. I have
I
Monday
might
off.
give in and buy a new grill this weekend, this upcoming weekend, so I can grill.
Charcoal or gas, though? That's the real question.
Oh, that's not a question. If you're not using charcoal, what are you doing?
Thank you. I do throw it out to the people, and then when people are like, "Oh yeah, I use gas all the time," I'm like, I can never eat.
No, you don't grill. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You've ruined.
You're just cooking on an outdoor stove. That's all you're doing. You're not grilling.
And I know, at least here, it's supposed to be gorgeous next weekend. Mother Nature is actually going to dump the rain on us throughout the week and then give us a nice weekend for once. So,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Can't wait to mow my lawn again and enjoy some nice adult beverages and the grill.
Absolutely. That sounds like a plan.
You do for Memorial Day.
Absolutely. That is on the schedule for me, even if I've got to go buy that grill. I got to have some ice cold adult beverages and some grilled food. I don't care what the grilled food is, as long as it's grilled.
Nah, steak, burger, hot dog, potato salad, whatever you can throw on there, it'll taste better.
Maybe some corn on the cob.
Oh,
man, that's fire. That's a Midwest thing, if I've ever heard of one.
Yep.
You grill the corn on the cob. That is the secret.
Now, will you just put the corn on the cob straight on the grill, or do you put it in the aluminum foil?
I actually do the foil just because it's such a pain to clean it. Like, I want to do the cleaning and stuff ahead of time, and I don't want the silks staying in there and all that mess. So yeah, I know the real rugged folks will just grill it in the husk, but
yeah,
that sounds like
steps. Put the little aluminum foil, a little butter, whatever you want to throw on there.
And
put that baby on the grill.
The best part, and sometimes I cut little holes in the foil for this reason. If you actually get it to where the grill will char, just start to char the kernels of the corn, it tastes like popcorn.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Try it. You just get a little sear on it. A little sear.
Okay. Huh. All right. I'm down for that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Cooking grilling notes with Skate.
Yeah.
The man knows. He's got to know corn. That's a Midwest thing.
I'm from Indiana. There's literally a theme park that closed this year that was open for like 70 years. Indiana Beach. Look it up. Their slogan was, "There's more than corn in Indiana." I'm not making that up. I'm telling you right now. Look up Indiana Beach.
It.
On Lake Schaefer in Monticello, Indiana.
All right, we're gonna live. We're doing this live here.
He's gonna do it live. I love it.
Oh crap! Here it is.
Look,
currently closed.
Yeah, currently closed. They decided to not, with the whole outbreak and everything going on, and they were already kind of in financial trouble. They decided to not open back up. But
there's more than corn in India.
I can't make that up.
Oh, I love it. And that was also a television or radio commercial.
Yes, it is. The television and radio commercials.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. I love it.
Proving once again, there is more than corn in Indiana.
That's right. How about that? You got the Colts, you got Hoosiers, and you have corn.
You know what else we have? By the way, we've clearly transitioned to off topic at this point.
Yeah.
No reason to have a lead in for it. But you know what else we have in Indiana?
What's that?
We have a few things actually that lead into off topic for us that's sports related. The one thing that we have is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which for the first time in 70 some years, I don't know the exact count because they didn't run a race, I think, during World War II or World War One. I can't remember. There were like a couple years from war that they did not have a race. So this will be the first time in over 70 years that Indianapolis Motor Speedway will be a ghost town during Memorial Day weekend. That was the staple in May in Indiana, was the Indianapolis 500. It was a month of testing and trials that the drivers would do here. The entire month of May is dedicated to the Indianapolis 500. No other racing series or race in general gets that kind of treatment. I don't even think you get a month of Daytona for NASCAR. I think it's 2 weeks basically that you get. You get a week of testing and whatnot, and then you go and do the qualifying and all that stuff. But yeah, there's nothing happening at the Speedway, and
that's crazy.
We're so used to talking about the race, and the local news would always be down there covering it, and you would get daily updates on it because it's a big thing down here. A lot of people don't go to the race down here, and this is another dirty little secret. The Indianapolis 500, I think exactly one time has been broadcast live to the folks in Indiana. There is a blackout on the Indianapolis 500. If you live in Indiana, you cannot watch the Indianapolis 500.
You can't watch.
So this is the thing, and this is so old school, and I love it. And this is one of those things that if you're born and raised in Indiana, you get. So what you would do is you would have your Memorial Day cookout. You would actually have a second cookout. You would probably go one place on Sunday, one place on Monday. So Sunday, you would be cooking out, and you would turn the radio on, and you would
turn the radio on and listen to the race.
Listen to the race broadcast, and I tell you what, there's no better race to have broadcast on the radio than the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, man.
The track leans itself to it, so you end up having, because of the design of the track. Now you can look this up later, but it's almost a rectangle in the way it's shaped.
Yeah.
So you end up getting people calling the race on all four corners. You have somebody up high calling the action, and then throw it off to the person in the next corner who's calling the action to the person in the next corner. So you have four people that are rotating through the lap by lap, and it's really fun. It's a really neat experience. And the whole time, like, you could like close your eyes and they're painting that picture of it. It's almost better in some cases than actually watching the broadcast. It's more entertaining because, you can tune it out for a while and just not even pay attention to it. You can talk with the family and friends that you're barbecuing with, but we're getting robbed of that this year, and it just kind of sucks.
It does. Like, I'm not a big NASCAR person. I've never been a big Formula One person, but that was always something where if I was at a bar or anything like that, I would go to the TV that had the Indy 500 on, just because I just remember countless Memorial Day weekend Sundays where I was watching the Indy 500, and then NASCAR used to have the Coca-Cola 600, which was the longest race of the year. And it would start at like 5-6 o'clock, and there was that one race that started in daylight and ended at nighttime, and like that was always like, that's the racing day.
It was, so this Sunday, a lot of people don't know it, the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend is the biggest racing day of the year for those two races, and internationally because the Indianapolis 500 is the greatest spectacle in racing. But what a lot of people don't know, international folks will know this, that's also the same day as the Grand Prix of Monaco, which is another huge Formula One race. It would be leading up to it. It would finish up, and then you'd have a couple hours before the Indy 500, and then Indy 500 ends. You got like an hour or two. Coca-Cola 600. So if you are a race fan, it was your day. You had it nonstop. And we're not gonna get. I don't. Are we getting the Coke 600? Is that gonna happen? I know you noted that NASCAR is gonna do like 4 races in 10 days. I know they come back tonight or this afternoon. It will already probably concluded by the time this goes live. But 4 p.m. Eastern, they're going racing in Darlington.
Yes. I know they're doing Darlington. They're doing 2 races at Darlington and 2 races somewhere else. It's another one of the more southern tracks that they have on the circuit. But I don't think they're doing that. I think there's a race today and a race on Wednesday, which will be, I don't think they've had a race on a Wednesday in like 50 some years or something like that.
Yeah, it takes an obscure circumstance for them to race on a Wednesday. It takes like a hurricane at Daytona to force it to Wednesday. It literally takes an act of God to move a race to a Wednesday for NASCAR.
And hey, look, we got one of them.
Yes, we sure did.
So they're doing that. But I guess they're doing like a race at Darlington and then the other track, and then Darlington and the other track. because I guess some of the NASCAR schedule, some of the tracks have two races.
Yes.
Two races there. So I think they're close in proximity. So they're just like, hey, let's just get these 4 out of the way, because NASCAR still wants to hit their 36 track schedule. And I think with this scheduling, the way they've done it, as long as there's no second wave or something else crazy happens, they're going to be able to hit that. So that's good to them. And I've never been one, like, obviously there's no fans, so
no,
which will be the case for all sports when they come back. NASCAR's never been a sport to where I still think somehow, some way, I still think the NFL finds a way to get fans in the stands.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know.
I think there's too much money for them not to.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is money is making the world go round. I mean, that's why we're rushing back to reopening things for those that follow world events, good or bad. That's the reason. Is money is the reason. That seems to be what's fueling all of this, and that's why NASCAR is doing 4 races in 10 days. I guarantee it. Yep. And this is why when they make their TV contracts, they are contracting for 36 races. The same thing happened with the IRL. The IRL was in danger of not even being able to run a season because they were a race short on their schedule. They had made TV deals for, I think, 22 races. You can look this up, like 3 or 4 years ago. That's why they added a second race at Indianapolis. They added a road race at Indianapolis for the IRL drivers because they were a race short. So these TV deals are made with a certain set number of races. If they don't have that many races, they're in void of their contract.
Yep.
So
it's great. And I'll tell you right now, people, those television deals, lots and lots of money. That's where they make
their money.
Yes. That's where those millions and billions of dollar revenue come in. That's why
they make money in other places, but that's the big one.
That's the big daddy money that comes in.
Yeah.
That's where you can wipe your nose with Benjamins and be okay with it and not cry that you just wasted $100 bill.
Yeah, that's the money that keeps a lot of people employed.
Yeah. But I do think with NASCAR coming back, I don't think there not being a crowd will really make a difference there. I've never paid attention to the crowd at any time I watch NASCAR, so that will be interesting to see. And hopefully within the next couple weeks, Skate and I can be talking about NHL and NBA coming back, because rumors are swirling there, and we're all in the wait and see for everything right now. Hopefully this is the sign of progression and things moving forward and getting close to normal as possible. But we're Skate and I are here to talk you through anything and everything during this whole crisis.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll talk about anything. I don't care. I'll talk your head off about whatever. I mean, I just went off for like 10 minutes about NASCAR and IndyCar, two things I don't even watch.
Racing. We are not racing fans. How about that?
How about that? I used to be, but
ladies and gentlemen, when you young teens, I remember playing NASCAR Thunder, and I grew up and just lost interest in it.
Yeah. One little side note too, make sure everybody tunes in and checks out the last 2 episodes of The Last Dance.
That's right. That wraps up tonight.
Episode 9 should be covering the greatest playoff series in NBA history. I don't care if I'm biased in saying that. It is the Indiana Pacers versus the Chicago Bulls from 1998, in which Michael Jordan robbed us of a championship, but it is what it is.
He robbed Utah too, because we're going to see that tonight, and let's be honest here. Yeah. He pushed off on that. On that last shot.
1,000% he pushed off. But that was game 6, wasn't it?
Yes.
So you still had another game.
Will he admit that he pushed off? I wonder if that will be discussed tonight.
By the way, have you seen the memes of them clipping Jordan's reaction into LeBron saying that he's like the greatest of all time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. It's the best. It is the best.
The internet could be a terrible, terrible place, but good Lord, the memes are fantastic, and how quick they come up.
I mean,
That was a meme like 5 seconds after that scene had played out.
oh yeah, like I woke up the next morning and it was on there, and I was like, is this part of the doc? Like, it took me a minute to realize, oh no, this is the reaction from who was it that was saying that? Was it Horace or was it? I can't remember who was saying that.
I think
stuff.
it was Horace.
It might have been. I know it was from that night's episode. It was from last weekend's episode.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Talking about it, because the reaction from Jordan, just, I mean, that's the reaction you get from somebody of his like his vision and his need to win and be the best. Like the fact that he's like, oh, they called me out about that? Like, are you crazy? Like, that was what fueled him. And the fact that he would make up stuff just to get mentally in the place where he had to like put on that performance.
Yeah. This is such a good look into the mind of a superstar like that, because I'm sure they're going to make one about Kobe in due time, and it'll be fantastic and we'll love it. But there's a reason guys at that level like don't make great head coaches, because they're wired differently and just can physically do what even regular pros, like they're all better than I could ever dream of being at basketball, even the worst NBA player. But that level of difference between a guy that can make it to the league and a superstar of that magnitude, it's a completely different mindset. They're wired differently, and it's just crazy to watch their thought processes and how they got there and what they used to get to that level. And the fact that they could turn it on like that, I wish there was one thing in life that I could turn on and be that cerebral with like that.
It'd be great, wouldn't it, to have that God mode button?
Like, oh yeah, I'm pretty good at everything I do, but I'm Michael Jordan at this thing, and you can't touch me.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter what you do, you're not winning.
Yeah.
Like this was over before it started.
Over. Before it started.
You lost before you stepped on the court. How does that sound?
Yeah, right. You're gonna play this out, but just so you know, you lost already.
Yeah.
You're just here sweating and wasting time.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sure we hit an hour again.
Oh, we certainly did.
We always do. Always do. It's an hour of fun for everyone that listens, and for us too, because it's very fun doing this show. I think that's a good point to wrap this up. Just once again, this will premiere live on YouTube around 8 o'clock EST tonight. It'll be up on Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts these days. And follow Console Gaming League on all of the socials: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Skate, it's been fun. I'm sure we'll be back at this next week talking some multi-tier tournament playoff action. And we got the Warzone tournament going on as well. We got a whole week ahead of us of news and information to come out, and we will be back next week to bring that information to you. Do want to thank everyone for listening. Give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Keep up the support. We love doing it for you guys, and we're just here to help the community grow and pass along as much information as we can. For Mr. Skate Action, I am Witty Calf. We will be back next week. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great week.